What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Party on Broad. Today we are previewing Eagles versus Cowboys Week 1. It's finally here. Joining us, Rob Langy at Philly_Madness. What's up, Rob?
Hey, man, I am excited to get started. I'm excited that I made it on time this week as opposed to showing up in the middle of your second show last week. I'm excited to be here. Looking forward to getting rolling here and getting this season going that we've been waiting a long time for.
Also joining us, Ryan at Philly Sports PSA. What's up, Ryan?
Not much. We're ready to drop some banners this week. I don't know if you know any that we could drop.
Maybe.
Where are my nice rings?
Perfectly fitting for a Cowboys show, as we discussed. We've also got Krabby joining. What's going on, Krabby? Always a pleasure. Today we are talking top matchups to watch on offense and defense, X factors, Eagles prop bets, player of the week predictions. Let's jump right in. Eagles offense versus the Cowboys defense. Obviously, you got to start with Saquon Barkley versus the Cowboys run defense. The Cowboys run defense stinks. 29th in rushing yards allowed last year. First in rushing first downs allowed per game. In rushing touchdowns allowed. 28th in yards per rush allowed, 29th in rush DVOA. Meanwhile, the Cowboys lost their best run defender in DeMarcus Lawrence, and the guy they traded for to replace DeMarvion Overshown in Kenneth Murray is not a good run defender. Mozzie Smith is a disappointment, to say the least. And then they bring in a new defensive coordinator. I'm going to butcher this name, Matt Eberfloss, who comes from the Chicago Bears, for a defense that also ranked 31st in run defense DVOA last year. So Dallas is not a good run defense, and enter Saquon Barkley, who had, 7 plays of 40 yards or more last season, and a dude that only got better as the season progressed and as the games progressed. In first halves last year, he averaged 4.8 yards per carry. During the second halves of games, he averaged 6.7 yards per carry. So this screams like a Saquon Barkley game, although it is week 1. Ryan, lead us off, man. Any thoughts on that, and what's your matchup?
Yeah, listen, that might be the nicest way anybody has ever described Mozzie Smith. Yeah, he is a bust and a half. He has not done anything. That Dallas defense is, as you said, so poor against the run. I mean, their defense, again, it was not the greatest. And then, why not just trade your generational defender away? Granted, Kenny Clark, not bad. Will probably help with the run, but still, not going to replace Micah Parsons in any way, shape, or form. I was super high on this game prior to the trade. I'm even higher, if that was even possible. Let's just say I'm so high that I've been hanging out with Snoop Dogg all week.
Yeah, it feels like the Cowboys are entering a weird transition year, and we'll get into more of that when we get into more of these matchups because of reasons, but they keep spending money, and Jerry Jones, he's just the gift that keeps on giving for Eagles fans. Ryan, do you have a matchup you want to break down?
Me?
Eagles offense versus Cowboys defense.
Yeah, I just think the offensive line in a whole is going to dominate that defensive line. Without Parsons there's again, no real threats to me of anybody that's going to be able to rush the passer. As you said, their run defense is already piss poor. I expect full domination from the offensive line over that defensive line, and it's not even going to be close. It's going to be embarrassing, honestly.
Did you see this stat? Across over 1,000 snaps, or no, let me start with this. Over the past 4 years, the Cowboys were the league's best defense with Parsons on the field by EPA per play. And across over 1,000 snaps, those same Cowboys in that time span immediately became the league's worst defense by the same metric when Parsons was on the sidelines or inactive. So
I mean, that makes sense. He was a generational talent, and they just traded him away.
amazing.
Keep sleeping. Who's sleeping?
I mean,
There's a lot of Dallas fans who have tried to talk themselves into this. First of all, Kenny Clark, you can find 30 of them around the league.
Right.
Okay, that's the first thing. Secondly, you traded for 2 first-round picks that will probably be late first-round picks, and you traded away a generational guy. The matchup should be against the Dallas players, and if they revolt against Jerry Jones. This It's becoming a laughing stock there, and now this team has to limp in here. The Eagles have their questions. Don't misunderstand me, but defensively for Dallas, I know they just paid Deron Bland a lot of money, but I don't know how they stop everybody. I don't know how they stop the world, anyone on the Eagles right now. I see a very high scoring affair coming Thursday.
Yeah, you look at Parsons in Green Bay, DeMarcus Lawrence in Seattle. The Cowboys have to find a new defensive end duo for the first time since 2021. They have Dante Fowler and Sam Williams listed as their starters. Fowler was expected to start opposite Parsons before the trade, but now you're going to see likely a rotation between Sam Williams, Marshawn Nealon, and second-round pick Donovan Ezeraku battling it out for snaps on the other side. Sam Williams will probably get the first crack at it, and then a heavy rotation following that. Sam Williams, a guy that's 26 years old, heading into the final year of his rookie deal, has a really good opportunity to kind of make himself a nice payday if he plays well. We thought he was going to have a big breakout year in 2024, but he tore his ACL in camp last year. So if you're a Cowboys fan, you have to think Sam Williams could be the X factor in this one. But outside of that, I'm not even that, you look at how this defensive backfield for the Cowboys is also banged up. I mean, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jahan Dawson should have some really solid games, solid days in this one as well. Any other thoughts between the Eagles offense and the Cowboys defense?
Yeah, I love how Kenny Clark is now becoming the best defensive tackle in the league in Dallas circles. It's okay. Yeah, you're right, guys. That's called an exaggeration. Sometimes it happens. He's maybe the third or fourth best defensive tackle in his own division now. Okay, I think that's going to be fair to say. So let's not act like Kenny Clark is all world. You traded away one of the top 5 defensive players in the league. I mean, would that be fair to say? Okay, so everybody relax down there in Dallas. I mean, I understand. Listen, we've been a part of trades in Philly where we had to try and justify them, and I understand that's what you're trying to do. But if you think you got better by trading Micah Parsons and getting Kenny Clark, you're sadly mistaken.
By the way, how old is Dante Fowler? This feels like he's been around forever.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Dante says, show me 30 Pro Bowl defensive tackles in the league.
All right, I forgot that we have to be literal at all times.
Yeah, of course. Well, with Dallas fans, they don't understand the nuances of the English language.
All right. Any other matchups to watch before we get into defense? I've got a lot of matchups on the other end of this between the Eagles defense and the Cowboys offense. Leading off, I think, with one of my favorite matchups, Nolan Smith versus Terrence Steele. That is definitely where I'm going. Nolan Smith, man, became a force in 2024. In the first 4 games of last year, didn't have a sack or a quarterback hit after the bye week. 10.5 sacks in the final 16 games, 4 in the postseason. And not only was he disruptive as a pass rusher, he is an elite run defender. He's really made me look silly with some of my takes, a year ago from here. And then you look at Josh Sweat's departure, Brandon Graham's retirement. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure. There's going to be a lot of snaps heading towards Nolan Smith. Enter Terrence Steele, a guy he stinks. He's been a below average starter recently, allowing 17 sacks over the last 2 years. The Cowboys signed him to a 5-year deal worth $82 million during the 2023 offseason. He played very well in 2022, but over the last 2 years, Steele has been arguably the biggest weak link on that offensive line, which is saying something considering the Cowboys continue to add rookies to that O-line. In short, this is a guy that's been flagged 31 times the last 5 years. He's a guy that consistently disrupts with his run blocking and terrible pass protection. All signs point to a massive game from Nolan Smith. So give me Nolan Smith versus Terrence Steele. Rob, do you want to go?
Yeah, the matchup that I'm going to be watching is Dory Jackson versus George Pickens. Assuming they are going to allow Quinion to shadow CD. Now, we don't know if that's the case or not, but look, last year, Darius Slay got a lot of throws his way because of the way Quinion Mitchell was playing. It looks like Adoree Jackson's getting the start, according to the depth chart. So that's going to be a key thing to slow down Dallas. You know, they have serviceable running backs, so it's not like you could just ignore that. But when you talk about CeeDee Lamb on one side, George Pickens isn't a slouch at wide receiver. He's a good wide receiver. And Adoree Jackson's going to have to, you know, show us that he can at least – I'm not expecting him to stop every single pass thrown his way. But, that matchup is going to be critical to get the Eagles off the field, is Adoree Jackson. And if it's not George Pickens every time and it's CeeDee Lamb he's got to be able to step up and make plays, especially on third downs. We're hoping there's going to be a lot of third and longs. So the secondary's going to have to make plays. And I think, we know we're going to get from Quinion and we know we're going to get from Coop. What are we going to get from Adoree Jackson on the other side?
I have no idea. That's such a good one, Rob, because you look at last year, there were so many games where teams just refused to throw towards Quinion Mitchell. And I feel like we're going to see the same thing. A lot of quick passes, getting the ball to whoever is opposite Quinion Mitchell there. The Eagles settled on Adoree Jackson. I called him as a starter months ago, and I don't feel good about it whatsoever. He is definitely this CB2 position is a week-to-week kind of thing. I feel like until maybe Jacorian Bennett kind of speeds up to Vic Fangio's defense. I think he's the better zone coverage defender out of the group, and maybe he's a really good fit there. We don't really know yet, and he's probably going to get snaps out of default because nobody has won that role. So that's a great one because Darius Slay, like you said, he stepped up so many times, getting so many targets. So great one. Ryan, any thoughts? Do you have a matchup?
Yeah. I'm looking at the other side of the line. I know that Tyler Guyton got injured. I believe I'm not sure. I assume he's officially out for this game. Does anybody know or have an injury report?
I believe he's going to be ready.
Is he? Wow.
Yes.
Well, good for him. I thought he was a goner for sure. But either way, I'm looking at that other side of the matchup. And I know that obviously the Eagles like to kind of, switch people around, but, whether it be Aziz, whether it be, honestly, anybody, I'm really kind of focusing on how their tackles are going to hold up against our pass rush. And, again, the Eagles pass rush, the youth of our pass rush is certainly over the playoffs have certainly stepped up. And I'd like to see that continue. I'd like to see the Nolan Smith, continue his kind of rise. So, yeah, I just kind of want to see how these tackles are going to hold up. Obviously, we all know what's going to happen in the middle with Jalen Carter and some of their young interior offensive linemen. But, yeah, that's where I'm going to be focusing on. And obviously, Rob, certainly said the one I would have probably said originally. But, yeah, I have no fear that they won't be able to do their job. So.
Yeah, Tyler Guyton entering year 2 at left tackle. I think last year was pretty up and down. He's a guy that looks good one week and then falls apart the next. Part of me thinks he's probably a better right tackle going forward down the line until Dallas addresses and gets a new left tackle. But enter Jalix Hunt, like you said, Ryan. Like Jalix Hunt. Who the hell was Jalix Hunt? Because he was kind of a guy that got ramped up as the regular season progressed. And then the postseason, man, he was lights out. He had a 7.4% pressure rate during the regular season. That increased to 12.9% in the playoffs, including 1.5 sacks. So, the question is, what are realistic expectations for Jalix Hunt in terms of snap count and things like that? So, he's a huge question mark.
Yeah, no, for sure. The other matchup that I'm going to be paying attention to is Dallas fans versus reality.
Someone said in there, I'll take my receivers over all of your DBs. 6 catches for 21 yards for CeeDee Lamb against Quinion last year.
Yeah.
I'll take that bet.
Right.
I'll take that bet. And you're going to put CeeDee in the slot? That's cool. Coop's there. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how that works out for you.
Yeah, exactly. Again, like I said, reality doesn't really seem to be a thing for Dallas fans.
Well, they also don't hear when we say the Eagles have questions. I guess they didn't hear that part when all 3 of us have made it.
Of course not. Of course not. But, that makes sense considering probably nobody in the chat has probably ever been to Dallas before. They're probably either, again, if they live in Philly or maybe Virginia. For some reason, cockroaches kind of all commune into Virginia for some reason. But yeah, no, that's keep telling yourself everything you want to do. But what I want to make sure is, next Monday when we're on here, I want all these Dallas fans to come on back and let's talk about the game. Let's talk about the game next Monday. We'll have tissues. We can talk about it. All good.
We have a comment. Reality was last year we were injured.
Sure.
How about Dak Prescott versus Vic Fangio? I think Dak is a borderline top 10 quarterback, but man, you look at last year, it was one of his worst seasons of his career. Career lows in QB rating, QBR, a 3-5 record before he was shut down with a hamstring injury, eight interceptions in 8 games. You could list there's 4 or 5. There's only 4 or 5 starting quarterbacks around the league that are older than Dak Prescott. I think he's entering a weird transition year for the Dallas Cowboys. I think Dak is a solid starter, but he's also an extremely aging and expensive quarterback who hasn't been able to stay healthy, who hasn't been able to get it done when it matters, and who also might be in a decline. And all 3 of those things are true. And I think Dallas fans, like you guys said, have to get that reality check. And then you got Vic Fangio on the other side, who is quickly becoming the newest version of Jim Johnson in Philadelphia, which is an absurd thing to say because Jim Johnson's so near and dear to my heart. But, I mean, you're coming off of a Vic Fangio masterpiece in the Super Bowl. What he did with Patrick Mahomes and that Chiefs offense was nothing short of masterclass. There's so many different stats I could reel off with that, but I'm not going to. So Dak Prescott versus Vic Fangio is a massive one. Another one I have is Cooper DeJean versus Kevontae Turpin, a wide receiver for Dallas that's going to get a lot of snaps in the slot. Brian Schottenheimer has already been putting Turpin, in the slot, in the backfield, in the flat. He's undersized, but he definitely has a lot of speed. He can make plays in the open field, and that speed, if he does get the ball in space, he can be a game breaker. He played 66% of his 155 offensive snaps in the slot in 2023. That increased to 73% of his 315 offensive snaps in the slot in 2024. Turpin has a long way to go to be a legit wide receiver in the NFL, but the traits are there. He's a nightmare to tackle in space. He can make contested catches despite his small size. And then you got Cooper DeJean. I mean, where do we even begin with Cooper DeJean? I don't even think the storyline with Cooper DeJean is about how good he is. It's about what he and where he's going to be in the 2025 Eagles defense. Outside cornerback, slot, dime linebacker, safety. I mean, the list goes on and on. My guess is we're not going to see what Vic Fangio wants to do with Cooper DeJean in week 1. That's probably something he's going to save in his pocket going forward, probably in the second half of the season. But yeah, how Vic Fangio employs arguably his biggest chess piece on this defense is something to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, again, we obviously been talking about CB2. We certainly need to talk about safety. Makuba has been practicing this week, so he may not certainly get the start, but, he certainly should be involved quite heavily, with this defense. So again, it'll be more or less of kind of how having these newer pieces, Jahad Campbell being one of them, and how they all kind of play together. So, and that's certainly what I'll be looking forward to.
All right, let's get some time. Okay, Rob.
Yeah, I will bet hallelujah my house that Dallas doesn't win 41-20.
Yeah, they're not scoring 41 points. What are you, insane?
Wow, 41-24. Interesting.
Again, Dallas fans versus reality. It's the ultimate matchup. They never win.
Well, I love we have 4 first-round picks. No, you don't have 4 first-round picks next year. I hope everyone understands that. Those picks were over 2 years. They were.
And how's Mazzy Smith doing? So it's not like you have a guy with all of the marbles in his head making those picks. So come on. Again, be a little bit realistic, Again, I understand that, we're talking here, but we are coming off of a Super Bowl. You are coming off of a garbage season where you just traded away your best player. What are we doing here?
I think it's time to move on. These people don't deserve our.
And of course, just like Dallas fans, these freaking cockroaches come out of absolutely nowhere. And we won't be hurt again until later we play them again. They won't come back when they lose, and they'll be crying. They'll be breaking TVs and crying.
They'll be back by week 3 in their holes.
Yeah, that Mozzie Smith pick was terrible. Like we do, at least Ryan and I, we do draft content every year, and when they made that pick, we all laughed and laughed and laughed. It's just what it is. Jerry Jones, just the gift that keeps on giving. Like he's just a joke. 7 Cowboys to Eagles 45. It's not going to be close. Get comfy in your house this week.
I'm always comfy in my house, but I'll be going out because I live in the area to which I root for.
You're not going to be getting my house, hallelujah. The score will not be 41-24 Dallas. I can tell you that right now.
No. There's a psych disorder which causes people to feel a need to be an a-hole. That's actually perfectly describes Dallas and Raiders fans.
Yeah, it's funny that you throw the Raiders fans in there. They're very delusional as well.
Yeah.
All right, let's roll. Does anybody have any other Cowboys offense versus Eagles defense matchups to watch before we get into X factors?
Nope.
X factors. Go ahead, Ryan.
No, I was just going to say Dallas's run game. Man, I'm excited to see that.
Oh, yes.
I'm excited to see what the hell that's even going to look like.
Well,
they have.
I just love Miles Sanders ran his mouth, and he might be the third string running back.
Right, exactly. Like, shut up, Miles. Like, I'm actually excited to see Jaden Blue. I did like him coming.
I was very disappointed he went to Dallas.
I fully agree. So I am excited to kind of see, and I fully expect him to take over starting duties later on in the season. But how much left does Javonte Williams have? I mean, that dude got hurt every year in Denver, and just again, I was a huge fan. I really hoped he lived up to his potential, but he just never could. He was either dealing with some injury or, they were fed up and would, draft somebody. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how god awful this run defense looks. Maybe they can bring back Zeke.
All right, let's roll on. Short recap: Saquon Barkley versus the Cowboys run defense. We talked about Hurts versus the absence of Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. We talked about Nolan Smith versus Terrence Steele. We didn't even touch on Jalen Carter versus Tyler Booker. Oh my God. Remember, Booker's the one that called out Jalen Carter saying he can't wait to play against Jalen Carter. I'm not going to get into that, but just be careful what you wish for. That is a wild thing to say.
A wild thing to say for a rookie.
And I like Tyler Booker quite a bit. He's a good player. George Pickens versus anyone not named Quinyon Mitchell. We touched on Jalen Hunt versus Tyler Guyton, Dak Prescott versus Vic Fangio, and Cooper DeJean versus Kevontae Turpin, and so forth. Let's roll on to our X Factor predictions for this game. Rob, you want to go first? Do you have an X Factor?
Yeah, I'm going to go Moro Jomo. I think Moro Jomo makes some plays. I think he gets a couple of sacks. I think he shoves it right up Ryan's keister, and I'm gonna go 2 sacks for Morrow. I'm gonna go 2 sacks for Morrow in this one, and maybe about 6 or 7 tackles.
All right, Ojomo for Rob or Ryan. Who are you going with?
I'm sorry, that just completely threw me off. That's so good, Rob. Oh man. You know what? I'll double down myself.
Yeah.
And I'll say Jordan Davis.
We need the stat lines up on the screen next Monday.
Absolutely. And we need Jordan Davis's run defenses up there.
We can't. He's so good. We can't do his whole game. We have to just.
Oh, I'm just saying. I want to make sure that specifically is up there. Listen, Jordan Davis might F around and get a sack. That might happen. But I'll tell you what might happen is the Javonte Williams, the Jaden Blue, and the Miles Turncoat Sanders will be getting is a lot of run stuffs and a big fat dude who ain't that fat anymore and is in the best shape of his life. Rob, stuff it. Third one.
Football is back, and every touchdown brings you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Your season starts now. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code PINPULL. That's code PINPULL to get $300 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first bet of $5 or more, plus over $200 off of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That is 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resorts, Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bet expires 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital game and commercial users excluded. Restrictions may apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer.
They wanted to do. I couldn't let Rob get away with that one.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. But anyway, Jahad Campbell is his versatility, pass rush, his all-22 film is going to be like probably the top storyline for me heading into post week one. I can't wait to watch him grow. I think when it comes to physical traits, athleticism, the tools, they're all there. It's just a matter of him sharpening those tools. And we're going to see that as the season progresses. So I'm really excited to see him pop on Thursday night. I think he can make some really big time plays, and that's what I'm looking for. Krabby says our team won 4 playoff games in 39 days last year. Your team hasn't won 4 playoff games in 29 years. You are a nail. All right, here we go.
29.
Nobody's scared of y'all. I'll be back when Dak hangs a 40 burger on y'all and Hurts throws 2 interceptions while trying to play catch up. Love it. Bring it.
Come back when that doesn't happen. If you want to be a real fan, come back when that doesn't happen so you could take take the crow that we're going to be giving you.
Yes, exactly.
I got a question for you three. What will you do if the Cowboys do like you all, like the Lions did KC for their Super Bowl banner opener? We won't panic.
Wait a minute. Did Detroit win that game?
I have to look it up.
I don't believe Detroit won the game. I know it was a close game.
It was 100% a close game. Did they win it, though?
But I do not believe Detroit won that game. I actually believe Detroit lost that game to Kansas City. And I'll tell you right now, I don't expect a blowout because I know how these first games tend to go on that night. So if it's a close game and the Eagles win, listen to me. I do not care if the Eagles win by 50 or by 1. It doesn't matter to me. I am a big win the game. That's what matters, and then we'll talk about it.
No, I just love how, we're going to score 40 points on you. We didn't let up 40 points at all last year, ever. And when we played against you, we won 34-6 and 41-7. You guys scored a total of 13 points. Where do you think all of this is coming from? Oh, well, here comes the excuses. Blah, blah, blah was hurt. Blah, blah, blah was hurt. It's not going to matter. It's not going to be enough.
I was wrong. It was a 21-20 final.
Did they lose?
I could have sworn Kansas City won, but Detroit won 21-20.
And guess what? They still ended up in the Super Bowl, didn't they?
Yeah.
All right, let's roll into guys, keep the comments coming. This is amazing. Philly says, fact is, Dak was the worst quarterback in the East last year. You can say one of the worst in the league. Smoke says, I'm not saying a blowout, but just how it would feel.
If the Eagles lost the game, would I be mad? Yeah, I'd be mad. I'd be disappointed. But I also know that at week 5 last year, we had our coach getting fired and the whole team having to get blown up. And things change quickly. I'm not going to let the whole year come down to the first game of the season. For me, we're putting a banner up. Yeah, it'd be wonderful to whoop your ass while we raise our banner. If some chance Eagles lost, they've lost games that they should have won before. We'll be okay.
Yeah.
For me, like the offense should be great. Like they return 11 of 12 starters with Saquon and everyone. They should be putting up at least 30 points, given everything we know with the Eagles run game and the Dallas run defense. The thing with the Eagles defense, there are some question marks and there are areas that can get exploited. And for me, I would not be surprised if Dallas does put up some points, but I would be a little disappointed if the offense struggles out the gate, which is very realistic. But if the Cowboys put up points on the Eagles defense, I'm not going to be upset. Like that's not in week one going to be a deal breaker for me whatsoever. Freight says the Cowboys aren't built to win playoff games. He controlled the middle of the field, controlled the game, top defensive tackles win Super Bowls over Page. Edge bruisers don't. All right, let's roll into player of the game predictions. Ryan, we can't have the same player of the game. You go first.
Woohoo! Jeez. I mean, I have to think that this is going to be a Saquon Barkley game. I mean, you are literally going up against a defense that is piss poor against the run. Rob, did you get a little Wawa pizza there, bud?
I got some bagels and a frappuccino.
There you go. All right. Yeah, so I'm going to go with Saquon Barkley. Again, I think had they been maybe playing anybody else, I would assume that they'd be trying to establish the passing game a little bit more. But considering just who they're going up against and the run defense of the Cowboys, and it's the first game, I think it could be easy to kind of just, hey, let's let Saquon take over, pass when we need to. Let's get out of here with a nice easy dub.
All right, Saquon Barkley.
Abby, you don't say that. Not cool.
Official pizza VP. It's my feeling.
I cannot wait though for the electricity in that building to just fill my soul when they're dropping that banner. And I hope to God I get to look over to my left and there's a stinking Cowboy fan sitting there crying while we drop that banner. I can't wait. I can't wait to just rip out his soul. Right.
All right. Wow. All right. Ryan went Saquon Barkley for player of the game. Rob, you cannot pick Saquon.
No. I'm actually going to go different. I'm going to go Jalen Hurts. I think all the talk this offseason about, Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl and how good is Jalen Hurts really? And all, I think he's going to show you just how good he is. I'm not saying that Saquon's not going to have a great game, but I think Jalen's going to score a touchdown with his legs, and he probably throws for a couple. So I'm going to go Jalen Hurts.
It's a good one. I'm glad you didn't take. I'm going AJ Brown. I think AJ Brown should have a big game in this one. You look at Deron Bland, who is removed from the PUP list, but still banged up. I think this screams AJ Brown. And that takes us right into our prop bets of the week. Leading off, Saquon Barkley over under 109.5 rushing yards. Ryan.
Well, I mean, I did pick him for the player of the game, so he better be getting over 109. Let's go.
Over Rob?
Yeah, definitely over there.
I'm going to go slight under. Ryan, AJ Brown over under 119.5 receiving yards.
I'm going to say under, but not by much. I think both of them will get right by 100.
Rob?
Yep, I think under just by a little bit.
Going over. AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, total touchdowns, 2.5. Ryan.
Under. I don't think they get 3.
Rob?
Yeah, I hate to agree with Ryan all the time.
I'll also go under. Ryan, Jalen Hurts over under 224.5 passing yards.
I'm going to go under. I think we're going to control this game on the ground, and by the time the fourth quarter comes, we're not going to need to pass the ball. So,
Rob?
Over. He's going over 250 at least.
Yeah, me too. I think this is a Jalen Hurts statement game. Jalen Hurts over under 2.5 total touchdowns. Ryan?
Oh.
Rob?
Over.
All right, moving on. Dallas Goedert over under 49.5 receiving yards. Ryan?
God, Dallas got it. I'll say over.
I didn't expect that. Rob?
I really want to say over, but I won't. I'll say under.
I think it's like literally like right
on. That's
Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt over under 1.5 total sacks. Ryan.
Over.
Rob. Also going over. Ryan. Jalen Carter over under 0.5. Rob.
Over.
Cowboys total rushing yards as a team over under 59.5.
I guess I'll say under because, again, if keeping it consistent, we will have a lead. They'll need to run the ball late. So
under for Ryan. Rob.
That's a really low number. I think they get over that. They probably get about
it is,
65, 7.
Ryan. CeeDee Lamb over under total receptions 5.5.
Jesus, that's tough. I mean, Q is allegedly going to be shadowing, correct?
We'll see if they change it up. Yeah. Usually, I think last year they mostly kept him to the side, correct?
Yeah.
So there has been buzz about Q moving around a little more this year.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a good line too. I'm gonna say he gets 6. I'll say slide over.
Rob.
He had 6 for 21 last year. I think 6 is the number, so I'll go over.
Same. George Pickens over under receiving yards 49.5. Ryan.
Yeah, I could see it again. Late game, garbage time. Yeah.
One, I think he's going to see a lot of Adoree Jackson, and
that too.
They'll go up top to him once or twice. So yeah.
Yeah.
Same. All right. Eagles defense over under turnovers 1.5. Ryan.
Man, that should have been the matchup. Eagles versus turnovers. I'm gonna say under.
I only think they're getting one.
I'm gonna go over. All right. There it is. We will keep score of this as we progress throughout the regular season. Guys, if you're watching us live, come back next Monday as we react to this. We missed a lot of comments here.
Yeah, they were just going back and forth. Although I'm pretty sure I thought I saw Pumper.
Oh, wow. All right. I'm trying to scroll back up. Pump Man, what's going on? Says, I think we lose this game, fellas. Jalen's been smelling himself too much. Who's literally the opposite of that? What?
I know.
If there's anybody that's the exact opposite, that's Jalen Hurts, the definition of Jalen Hurts.
I know, dude.
Boys are not an unknown. It is well known that they have sucked for most of their history in all the last 30 years.
Pretty much.
Cowboys fans are not here to talk football. They're here to be little boys. Oh my God.
Krabby's having a day over there.
Yeah, right? Krabby's in his element. Love it.
AJ will cook, but Eagles will be running out the clock to be conservative beginning of the fourth quarter. That is a very good point. Smoke says, I love this place. Nothing like great Phillies fans. Appreciate that.
Appreciate you, Smoke.
Anyway, this is hard to catch up. Until my Cowboys stop the run and establish the run game, we won't win against running teams. Period. That's where it's like, it feels so good.
Can we just find a realistic Cowboy fan?
I think we just converted one.
Somebody mark the calendar. Somebody, quick.
I think he wants to become an Eagles fan, so he's going to kiss up to us.
But anyway, guys, thank you everyone for watching. Happy Labor Day. If you love college football, Ryan and I just got done talking Eagles draft targets, our reaction of week 1, and predictions for week 2. Rob, final thoughts on this one?
Yeah, first of all, give me that defensive end from Miami, baby. Like him.
Ruben Bain. We talked about him.
We talked about him, yeah.
Me some Ruben Bain last night. Won me some money, Ruben. Way to be.
There you go.
Anyway, listen, I'm looking forward to getting this thing started, seeing what's out there. I know the way our fans are that if they win, we're going back to the Super Bowl. If they lose, the season's over. They should fire everybody. But try and keep in mind, it's week 1, 17 games, long season ahead of us.
Long season.
Ryan, final thoughts?
Yeah, but I think this is one that, we can come out and kind of, establish ourselves in the way that we want to. The crowd will absolutely be electric. I don't doubt that. I cannot wait to get down there. I am going to be so hammered. It's going to be so much fun. But listen, either way, we're dropping a banner. We got ourselves one of these. I'm happy. Either way, I'm happy. Nothing can hurt me right now.
And to all Cowboys fans especially, we will be doing halftime and postgame live on Thursday night. So please join us, react with us. If it's a close game, I want to see you guys in the chat, and it very well could be. So we have Fright saying the truth never has to be validated by ignorance. So guys, Thank you, everyone, for watching. He is Rob Langy at Philly_Madness. He is my man Ryan at Philly Sports PSA. I am Deibs, Mr. Crockpot. Thank you all for watching. Stay awesome.